And folks, a side view of the 10-gallon. I'm really proud of this tank. It took me a while to put together. I was patient with it, and I'm being rewarded. On the left-hand side, you can see the Crypt Spiralis, which is doing very well. In the middle, the Foxtail, which is growing like crazy. I've trimmed it already a couple times. In the foreground, on the very bottom right, you can see some more Crypt Spiralis, and then there's some Dwarf Sag right behind it. I'm looking not to use that as a carpeting plant, but I'm looking for that to send out runners. It does take about 4 months for them to send out runners, so I'm hoping that that fills in a little bit more. On the back right, you can see the Crypt Undulata, which is growing like crazy. So I'm really proud of the way this turned out, from the graveyard I had before to this. And just as a reminder, this is not a dirty tank. I did not use any expensive substrate. All I have is pool filter sand, and I've been using root tabs. I'm going to do a video pretty quick on my opinion on root tabs, where you look at Flourish tabs versus API root tabs and the difference between the two. But I have a dosing regimen that I follow, and I have root tabs in the sand to fertilize it. Remember, most of these plants, they take most of their nutrients from the roots. So it's well fertilized. The growth is fantastic. In this tank, I've got some 6 Celestial Pearl Danios or Galaxy Rasboras, and I've got some autos that I've just added. The autos, and you can see one that's kind of right on the glass. Where is he? Right there. And these autos are great fish. The key with them is to drip acclimate them. And what I did when I put these autos in, which is probably not the right way to go about it, but you'll see a video pretty soon where I used a breeder box and acclimated the autos by pouring a little bit of water into a breeding box and getting them acclimated that way. I do think drip acclimation is probably the best way to do it. Because of these autos, I did lose half of them. I bought 6, I have 3 in there, and the 3 I have in there are doing great. They're healthy, they're eating, no problem. So that's the update on the 10-gallon. And again, folks, low-tech tank. Just pool filter sand with API root tabs and a dosing regimen. My dosing regimen is Flourish, Seachem Flourish, Seachem Trace, Seachem Excel, and Seachem Potassium. And I will do another video on how I do that pretty quickly. But not bad for being a graveyard tank turned into this. And here's 4 months into it, folks. And I'm really proud of the way this tank came out. I took my time, I was patient. Let the plants root first before adding fish. So right now in this tank, you'll see on the left-hand side, the Crypt Spiralis has just blossomed. The Foxtail in the middle, I must have trimmed I don't know how many times to bring it back. It's doing great. The Crypt Undulata on the right-hand side is doing great, and the Dwarf Sag kind of in the foreground of the tank is doing well. I'm waiting for it to send out runners. I know it takes 4 or 5 months for them to do that, so I hope that fills in. The Bolbitis on the right-hand side toward the bottom, if you see the circle, I'll circle it right now, that was a huge surprise. When you have a rhizome, folks, that's green, if there's no leaves on it, just plant it and let it go. That was a green rhizome only. I super glued it to a piece of driftwood, and that Bolbitis is now blossoming. So don't ever throw away a green rhizome. Even if there's no leaves, it'll still grow. In this tank, we've got 6 Celestial Pearl Danios, or Galaxy Rasboras, as they were formerly known as. I've got 4 red cherry shrimp. You can see one right in the middle. And I added autos. And I've got 3 autos in here right now, which are doing really well, nice and fat. Eating up all the diatoms and all the brown algae. So here is the tank 4 months later. And that's the update on the 10-gallon tank, folks. Thank you for the comments I received on this video and the emails I received. I received quite a few emails about this tank. It's come a long way from being a graveyard tank where the only thing that propagated, as I'll say again, were the ghosts of dead plants and nightmares. And some baby shrimp that were hitchhikers that were dying in the bottom left-hand corner of that tank. So here's the new tank. You can see an auto going to town on my glass here right in the front, but really proud of it. It's low tech. Pool filter sand, root tabs, and I've got a dosing regimen, which I'll do a video on in probably a week or 2 on how I do the dosing for the plants. So again, this is the update. We've come a long way, and I've certainly learned a lot. and I want to take what I learned in building this tank and share it with you all. So watch out for more videos soon. Again, folks, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.